The Gates of Hell, Turkmenistan. In the Karakum Desert of Turkmenistan lies a burning crater so surreal that many believe it should not exist on Earth. Known as the Gates of Hell, this fiery pit has been burning continuously for more than 50 years. It began in 1971 when Soviet scientists accidentally collapsed an underground cavern while drilling for natural gas. To prevent toxic gas from spreading, they set it on fire, expecting it to burn out in a few days. Instead, the crater transformed into a massive inferno that refuses to die. What makes this place truly mysterious is not just the flames, it's how they never stop. Geologists still struggle to explain how the burning has persisted for decades despite the constant expectation that the ground should collapse inward or that the fuel should eventually run out. Yet, the crater remains stable, and the fire remains intensely alive, as if fed by an endless hidden source. Travelers describe the experience as otherworldly, a giant glowing wound in the earth, roaring like a jet engine, with heat waves strong enough to push people back from the edge. At night, the crater can be seen from kilometers away, flickering like a portal to another world. Despite attempts to extinguish it or cover it, nature continues to defy expectations. The desert winds fuel the flames, and small organisms have even been discovered living near the blazing rim, creatures surviving in temperatures no life should withstand. The Gates of Hell challenges everything we understand about geology, heat, and environmental balance. Why hasn't it collapsed? How much gas lies beneath it? And why does the flame still burn as fiercely as it did 50 years ago? No scientific model fully explains its persistence. It remains a blazing reminder that not all forces of nature obey human logic. The boiling river, Amazon, Peru. Deep in the Peruvian Amazon hides a river so deadly and so mysterious that many locals believe it is the work of spirits, or something far older. The boiling river, known locally as Timpishka, stretches more than 6 kilometers and reaches temperatures of up to 93 degrees Celsius. That is hot enough to cook animals alive. Any small creature unfortunate enough to fall into the river is instantly scalded, its tissues breaking apart in seconds. Yet the most baffling part is this: there are no volcanoes or geothermal vents anywhere near the area. For decades, scientists assumed the stories were exaggerated. It wasn't until 2011 that researcher Andres Russo confirmed the phenomenon and found himself shocked by the river's intensity. Even he could not determine how such extreme heat could exist so far from tectonic activity. The leading theory suggests that rainwater travels through deep fault lines and is superheated underground before resurfacing. But this explanation still leaves gaps. Why is this river the only one of its kind? How does it maintain such extreme temperatures along its entire length? And why do some parts boil violently while others simmer just below 100 degrees Celsius? Walking along the river is like standing beside an enormous natural boiler. The air is thick with steam, and the ground is too hot to touch. Trees bend from the constant heat, their roots scorched where they touch the water. Despite the hostile environment, some microorganisms have adapted to survive at temperatures that should destroy life. The boiling river remains one of the Amazon's greatest unsolved mysteries, a place that defies geological logic and challenges our understanding of Earth's hidden systems. Scientists continue to study it, but many questions remain unanswered. Until they are solved, the river stands as a reminder that even in a world mapped by satellites and explored by technology, there are still places that science can't fully explain. Blood Falls, Antarctica. At the edge of one of the coldest, harshest environments on Earth lies a sight so shocking that explorers once believed it was evidence of life bleeding out of the ice. Blood Falls, located in Antarctica's McMurdo Dry Valleys, is a crimson stream that pours out of the Taylor Glacier and stains the white landscape with deep red streaks. This bizarre waterfall looks like something from a nightmare, vivid red water flowing in a place where almost nothing survives. Early Antarctic explorers were baffled. They assumed the color came from red algae, but no algae were found. The mystery deepened until scientists discovered something even stranger. The water emerging from the glacier had been sealed off for millions of years inside a subglacial lake with no sunlight, no oxygen, and extremely high salinity. Life, theoretically, should have been impossible. Yet microorganisms were found thriving in this ancient, isolated pocket, surviving by breathing iron and sulfur instead of oxygen. When this mineral-rich water reaches the surface and touches the air, it oxidizes instantly, turning blood red. But even this discovery did not solve every question. How does the trapped water remain liquid in such extreme cold? Why does it continue to flow steadily instead of freezing inside the glacier? What unknown geological mechanisms keep the pressure and temperature just right for the water to escape? Blood Falls is not just a visual anomaly, it may represent a hidden ecosystem untouched by the modern world, a real-life example of how life might exist on other icy planets or moons. The falls serve as a window into ancient Earth, a reminder that survival can take forms we cannot predict. Despite ongoing research, many aspects of this eerie phenomenon remain unexplained. The Red River continues to bleed from the ice, and every answer uncovers even deeper mysteries beneath Antarctica's frozen surface. Catatumbo Lightning, Venezuela. In the skies above Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela, nature performs one of its most mesmerizing and baffling displays. Known as Catatumbo Lightning, this phenomenon produces near-continuous lightning storms, up to 260 nights per year, sometimes lasting 10 hours a night, with more than 28 lightning bolts striking per minute. It is the most persistent lightning storm on Earth. But what makes it truly mysterious is not the spectacle itself, it's the fact that no one knows exactly why it happens. The region's unique geography, atmospheric conditions, and methane from nearby swamps have all been suggested as possible factors, but none fully explain the consistency, intensity, and location of the storms. Catatumbo lightning doesn't behave like ordinary weather. It can stop for weeks or months, then suddenly return with even greater strength. It doesn't drift across the sky, instead, it remains anchored over the same small region, as if tied to an invisible force. Some researchers believe the massive Andes mountain range traps warm winds from the Caribbean, creating a perfect storm generator. Others argue that ionized gases rising from the wetlands play a key role. Yet, the exact combination of conditions remains unsolved. The storms are so bright that sailors once used them as a natural lighthouse, visible from hundreds of kilometers away. Locals call it the eternal storm, and many see it as a symbol of power, warning, or divine presence. Clouds tower like glowing citadels as bolts of lightning tear through the sky, illuminating the landscape in rhythmic pulses. The thunder rolls without pause, echoing across the lake in deep, vibrating waves. For scientists, photographers, and adventurers, Catatumbo lightning is a phenomenon that borders on the supernatural, predictable yet inexplicable, constant yet chaotic. Despite decades of study, no scientific model can fully explain its behavior. It stands as one of Earth's most dramatic and enduring mysteries, a reminder that even the atmosphere still holds secrets we do not understand. The Devil's Kettle, Minnesota, USA. Along the rugged trails of Judge C.R. Magny State Park in Minnesota lies a geological mystery that has puzzled researchers for decades. At a point where the Brule River splits in two, half of the water continues its normal path downstream, but the other half vanishes into a dark, gaping hole known as the Devil's Kettle. What makes this place extraordinary is simple: no one knows where the missing water goes. Scientists have thrown dyes, ping-pong balls, and other tracers into the kettle, expecting them to resurface somewhere along the river. They never did. The water disappears, never to be seen again, as if swallowed by the earth itself. The leading theory suggests that the water flows into a network of underground channels carved into ancient volcanic rock. But this explanation raises problems. The region's rock formations aren't porous enough to create tunnels of that scale. There are no caves large enough to transport that volume of water. And if such a system existed, the water should eventually re-emerge, yet it doesn't. The Devil's Kettle seems to break the rules of hydrology. Water cannot simply cease to exist. Yet here, it appears to vanish into an invisible pathway. Some speculate it drains into Lake Superior through an undiscovered exit point. Others believe it's absorbed into a hidden fracture system deep below the surface. Standing at the site, the roar of the water echoes through the forest. One side crashes downward in a typical cascade, while the other spirals into the stone cavity, disappearing instantly. The contrast is eerie, a natural split that defies logic. Despite extensive research, no complete explanation has ever been confirmed. The Devil's Kettle remains an unsolved puzzle, a place where water defies physics and where nature hides one of its quietest, most persistent mysteries.